Hey.
Alright y'all, so if you've been following this channel for quite some time, then you would know that I was a huge advocate for Scottie Barnes heading into this season. He had the tremendous rookie season, won Rookie of the Year in his class where he was not expected to win it. Then sophomore season had a bit of a drop off. His counting stats didn't go up. There were just a lot of frustration, I believe, in that Toronto Raptors team with how he was playing, to the point that his name was coming up in trade rumors, which always seemed a little too crazy at the time. But regardless, fast forward to today, and his third season has been amazing. He has taken a huge step forward, so far forward in fact that the Toronto Raptors have now made multiple deals in order to make him the face of the franchise and dealing away OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam. It's even to the point where I feel like he should be the leading candidate for most improved player, and I know he doesn't exactly fit the description of what I've said in the past of what I want to see for the most improved player award moving forward, just because, again, he was a high draft pick, he won Rookie of the Year, but last season it was such a step back that with the step forward this season, I think it's a good enough improvement in context that he should be a lock for at least being a finalist for the award. In fact, I'll even go as far as to say that I truly think Scottie Barnes should even sniff an All-NBA team. I'm not saying he should be first team by any means, obviously, but I think it would be rewarding for him to see the All-NBA third team because he has been having that great of a season so far. Plus, overall, I've just really enjoyed what this Toronto Raptors front office has done in building a team around Scottie Barnes. I just love it because he's such a versatile star player to have. You know, obviously he's not going to go out and give you 30 points every night like a bunch of other, best players on other teams, but he's someone that's going to give you 20, he's going to hit the glass and maybe get you like 8 to 10 rebounds. And he's also just great with the ball in his hands as a playmaker. He can go get you 6-7 assists. Not to mention, he has also taken a huge leap defensively. He's up to almost 3 stocks per game, which is absolutely insane. He has crazy length, crazy wingspan. He's tall. He can guard 1 through 5. He is one of the few NBA players in the league that can legitimately say he can guard 1 through 5. But that's enough of me yapping. Let's hit the tape. Now, I'll be honest, offensively, it's hard to not draw at least some comparisons to Giannis Antetokounmpo. I understand, before y'all yell at me in the comments, I understand they are not the same player. Giannis is a multi-time MVP, and Scottie Barnes is just a 22-year-old third year in his league, still finding his footing. But you can't argue that they do have similar play styles, especially offensively, because Scottie Barnes, much like Giannis, is great at getting to the rim. He's great at using his height, and he's got really good lateral mobility that he can get into the paint. He can Euro step, he can sidestep. He's also got the strength to just power through defenders and to finish with the layup or a dunk. Overall, when you have Scottie Barnes on your team in the half-court offense, the goal is to always try to just get him a lane to the hoop where he can get ahead of steam. Again, much similar to Giannis. And then perhaps the area of his offensive game that has seen the most improvement heading into the season is his jump shooting and just shooting in general. And after shooting around 29-ish% across his first 2 seasons from three-point land on 3 attempts per game, those numbers have shot all the way up to 37% on 5.5 attempts this season. I'll be honest, in watching this game and some couple past games from the Raptors and Scottie Barnes, I just feel like he is a bit too trigger happy with the 3-point attempts sometimes. I know 37% is technically above league average, but at the same time, with just how great of a driver of the basketball Scottie Barnes is and with how much rim pressure he can generate for your offense, I just feel like there's a tendency to settle for threes a bit too much. It's not a huge complaint, but it is just a little something I noticed. In addition to that, I also wanted to point out, according to Basketball Reference, if you look at the range of 16 feet to the 3-point line, so pretty much that deep 2 range, he was right around 37% for his first 2 seasons, and that number for field goal percentage has jumped all the way up to 53%. So another area, it's not just 3-point shots that he's hitting more efficiently, it's also deep 2s, which isn't always the best shot to take, especially for someone like Scottie Barnes, but it is a great sign because that's a really good shooting percentage from that range. He's also grown a lot as a pick and roll player, and the thing I like most about this current edition of the Toronto Raptors is, especially without Jakob Poeltl, he's been hurt for quite a while now, they've been experimenting with some Scottie at the 5 lineups, which again reinforces my Giannis take that I had a few minutes ago, because the Bucks also do a similar thing where they give Giannis some run at the 5, and it just creates a whole different type of offense they can run, because rather than giving Scottie Barnes the ball and having him run pick and rolls with, a Jonte Porter or a Jakob Poeltl or a Thad Young, they then can use Scottie Barnes as a screener, and having him in the short roll, with running it with guys like RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, that just creates a whole different monster for the defense to have to work with. But with his, catch and drive abilities, passing abilities, just finishing abilities in general, it is a luxury to have him be able to both run the dribbling side and the rolling side of that action. I especially loved it with Bruce Brown. I'll go on a quick tangent now with Bruce Brown. There's been some rumors that Toronto might move on from him to get some additional picks, but I personally would love it if he were to just stay in Toronto and finish out his contract there, and maybe they can try to get him to re-sign, because he is such a great fit for this team. Yeah, it's funny because you have Scottie Barnes, who is essentially a guard in a forward's body, whereas Bruce Brown, on the other hand, is completely undersized and looks like a guard but plays like a forward. He's great as a roll man for many of the same reasons that Scottie Barnes is great as a roll man. He's just great at creating rim pressure as an off-ball guy, and I think it's something that he fits like a puzzle piece in this roster with Scottie Barnes as the face. And I've already talked about Scottie's passing a little bit, but to dig a little bit deeper, as someone who never actually, watched Magic Johnson play outside of YouTube highlights, I just kind of imagine this is similar to what a Magic Johnson would have looked like. Obviously, Scottie isn't as good of a passer as Magic Johnson. Let me just, clarify right now. But again, just having this huge 6'7" guy be able to run pick and rolls, run offenses, see over the defense as he drives to the rim, it makes it super easy for him to kick out the shooters. He's improved so much in the pick and roll that he is making some really nice passes to the roll man now after he attracts a defense to him. You can get out and run in transition and make some nice passes there. You can post them up and he can kick out of the post. There are just so many ways you can use Scottie Barnes as a way to generate pressure on the defense, and he is capable of scoring the ball himself or kicking out the teammates. The only thing I will add, and it might have been just for this game, but he had 6 turnovers, and it felt like he had way more. He was really sloppy with the basketball at times, and a lot of them were just really stupid turnovers that I feel like shouldn't have happened in the first place. So again, it might have just been this one game, because he's only averaging about 2.5 on the season, which isn't good, but isn't terrible either. So that might just be something to monitor, moving forward. And then defensively, I think I made a video earlier in the season highlighting Scottie Barnes' defense, but this is another area of his game where he has just seen tremendous improvement, especially as a shot blocker. I feel like he's always been good at jumping passing lanes, which is, just something that he should be good at with those long arms and, quick twitch abilities. But the rim protection is something new. This is something that, he hasn't averaged over a block per game until this season. And it seems like he's finally taking that portion of the game seriously. He takes pride, it seems like, in just absolutely rejecting people's shots. The only thing that worries me about Scottie Barnes defensively is it seems like he takes a lot of plays off, and just there are just some specific instances where he just doesn't give any effort at all on a defensive possession. And if it happened maybe once or twice a game, I don't think it'd matter, but I just feel like every time I watch Scottie Barnes play, he's just taking multiple possessions off defensively, which is a shame, because he could easily be an all-defensive guy, in my opinion, if he were to just apply himself every play. For example here, there's this one play where he just doesn't contest this DeMar DeRozan jump shot in isolation, but then you'll see later in the game, he will play great isolation defense and shut him down, and it's why can't you just do that every possession, or at least put the effort in every possession? Either way, I don't want to end the video on a bad note, because with Scottie Barnes this season, there have been way more positives than negatives to take away from how he's been playing. I haven't even mentioned yet that he has been one of the best fourth quarter players, and I don't know why this isn't being talked about more in national media, but he is legitimately, he turns into a whole different player in the fourth quarter. He's been backpacking the Raptors offensively and defensively in that period, night in and night out. He's even starting to develop a bit of a go-to move with this little, one-handed push floater right when he gets below the foul line. I'm yet to see him miss it. At least it feels like that. So I that's one shot I just really enjoy watching him get to night in and night out. And I know I'm saying all these good things about the Toronto Raptors, and Raptors fans are probably, I don't want to say upset, but they are losing a lot of games. They are slipping in the standings, and I think for now you just kind of have to live with it. There's going to be growing pains. Scottie Barnes isn't going to be a perfect star player right out the gates. Again, he's only 22 years old. He still has a couple of years until he even thinks about reaching his prime. So for now, this Raptors team is technically in a rebuild, even though they have a bunch of talent. I love how Emmanuel quickly complements Scottie Barnes. I like the RJ Barrett fit. Again, I've already talked about, but I love the Bruce Brown fit. And overall, I really do think that this is going to be a team that's competing sooner rather than later. It's not going to be this year. It could be next year, depending on what other move they decide to make. And again, just how far Scottie Barnes is able to take this team early in his career. But that's all I got for this one. As always, if you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of those good things, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.